Hey guys, what's up? It's Uncle Zunky, and welcome to what is essentially going to be the last game of the season, or the last game we're going to show anyway. There are 4 games after this game, however, I think this game is more pivotal for the playoff seeding, and also our last 4 games of the season are against some pretty terrible teams, so I didn't really necessarily want to show that. But looking at the playoff standings right now, we are only the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference, and we were the 2 seed in the last episode. But what happened is a John Wall injury and a lot of losses came during simulated games when John Wall is out, which is completely understandable because he's by far the most important part of our team. Looking at the starting lineups, we still have Domo starting, and we do have Tyreek Evans finally starting a game. We've been going up against all these really good small forwards and had to start Trevor Ariza for defensive reasons. And we are going up against another good small forward today in Paul George, but I still wanted to start Tyreek just because he's been putting in work lately. And Trevor Ariza, although he's good defensively, he's a pretty good rebounder, he has been struggling shooting percentage-wise. He's putting up buckets, but maybe not in the most efficient way possible. So I just wanted to switch over to Tyreek and see what he can do. So Paul George is going to start off this game, of course, being aggressive and getting the first bucket of the game with the lay-in. Tyreek Evans struggling to keep up with them there, and that's the main reason why I have been starting Trevor Ariza lately. But the dude did mess around and get a triple-double in our last game, so we're going to give him a chance here, and I'm really happy to get John Wall back. I think this is only his 2nd or 3rd game back from his injury, and he's going to be starting off our night scoring with the 2-point bucket there, and John Wall is going to be matched up against George Hill trying to defend him, so that's definitely a mismatch that we can take advantage of, although George Hill does have enough size to keep up with John Wall. Paul George is scoring again, getting his team's first 2 buckets, and finally John Wall is going to be able to go up against a point guard his own size, definitely not his own skill, but crazy finish from Monte Ellis there, who's very good at finishing near the bucket, and he would hit the free throw as well to successfully complete the and one. So that's just a huge pickup as George Hill manages to cut to the rim and finish, and the Pacers are off to a nice start. They're up 11-4, and they're going to continue that scoring. Beautiful pass from Paul George, cross court, and George Hill with the difficult finish, and the Pacers are up 13-4 now. Great start to the game for them, and we kind of came out slow from the gates, and we're going to need to claw our way back into this game and not let things get too crazy too early in the game. So beautiful pass from John Wall to our center, and he's going to finish there. And our backup center, whose name is actually not Marcus Johnston, as I have been calling him, but Marshall Johnston, so I feel really bad. And he's going to finish again with the and one, but unfortunately would miss the free throw. He still needs to work on the free throws. He's probably going to be our center for the future, so I was trying to get him some playing time. And I forgot Nick Collison can shoot threes now. He's just started doing that in real life the past couple seasons, and before that he never really was a three-point shooter, so I wasn't too worried about leaving him open, but you can't do that anymore. And Will Barton, who's also a guy that Indiana picked up probably off the free agent market because he was one of those lower tier role players for Portland before last season, and he's going to be a nice benefit to the Pacers off the bench as well. We got CJ Watson in the game hitting threes, nearly a tipped pass from Solomon Hill, but then Bradley Beal manages to strip it from him and get the steal. We're running a fast break, lobbing it up to Ariza, and he's going to finish, and we're right back into this game after a nice little run from our team, and we're only down by 3 points, and now 26-25. John Wall is looking to start off the second quarter by taking the lead, and he's going to do that in a big way, driving to the hoop and slamming it, and unfortunately the Pacers are just not able to do anything. David West is just watching. He tried to set up for a charge there, but John Wall is a little bit too quick for him. So the Pacers are now down after starting off so well for this game, but unfortunately they have not managed to keep that pace, and David West is going to try a crazy shot, but Roy Hibbert gets the rebound and he puts it back up and in, and it's pretty hard to defend 7'2". That is a big man, and he's going to do work on the glass when he gets in his right mindset to do so. Bradley Beal's cutting the rim, and he's going to finish as well with the easy finger roll. And one thing you'll definitely be seeing in the future is Bradley Beal becoming a much bigger part of the offense, because in Season 1 and throughout most of this season, I've been incorrectly using him as mostly just a guy who spots up for threes and occasionally cuts to the rim if he gets a screen or something like that. But in the future, Bradley Beal is going to be a much bigger part of this offense. He takes a dumb shot and gets swatted there. You probably deserve that, but Donatas Motiejunas with the nice step-through move, and he misses, but he gets his own rebound and puts it in. But Bradley Beal is going to become a much bigger part of this offense. Also, one thing that's very interesting is Bradley Beal is only about 1 or 2 overall points lower than John Wall, and Bradley Beal is also about 3 years younger, which is something, the way that 2K works, he's going to develop to be a very, very nice player, let's just say that. And so it's going to be very important as Marcin Gortat loses the ball, and unfortunately Monte Ellis is out on his lonesome on the break, and he slams it down, but the Pacers are still down by 3 points. But anyway, as I was saying, Bradley Beal, unfortunately, looking to be a point guard there, and he just passes right into George Hill's legs, and George Hill is going to be left wide open for a three-pointer, and he ties up the game halfway through the second quarter. I call timeout after that, after the Pacers went on a little miniature run, and I got my flamethrower in the game, Garrett Temple, who can just heat up from anywhere and immediately hit shots. The only problem is I don't play him a whole lot because he is stuck behind Bradley Beal and John Wall, the other two guards in this team, who get a ton of minutes, and also Tyreke Evans. So there's just not a whole lot of playing time to spare, and the Pacers take the lead on a three-pointer, but we're going to get a three-pointer right back. Bradley Beal in the corner. That is nothing but net, just perfect, and we're tied up at 44. Bradley Beal starting to heat up, not the best shooting percentage, but he is already up to 13 points. I get the steal from Domo, and Tyreke Evans is going to finish on the alley-oop pass. Again, not a slam. Tyreke Evans just never seems to dunk it on alley-oops, but he always manages to finish them with the lay-in, so I still lob it up to him. We are starting to go on a run here at the very end of the half because we were tied up at 44 all just a second ago, but now we're starting to pull away from the Pacers. Monte Ellis gets a jumper in the middle of the lane to go to cut our lead down to 5, but then our offense is going to get a very, very nice look here with Domo cutting to the rim, and no one's there to stop him. He gets the dunk. And then crazy sequence here at the very end of the half. Paul George does get a decent look at 3, but he just misses it. Unfortunately, bad contest by CJ Watson, but he makes up for it, streaking down the court. And he just tosses one up, and it goes in. And that is a three-pointer to bring our lead to 10 at the end of the half, when we were tied up just a second ago. 12-2 run to end the half, and we're going to be up by quite a bit. Looking very nice going into the second half. Here's your halftime stats. And we're out rebounding the Pacers by 10, which is very nice. Bradley Beal is your leading scorer in the first half with 15 points. But dumb pass to open up the second half, and George Hill is going to get the steal and finish on the other end really quite easily, and that was just unfortunate, but that's the way it works out sometimes. Roy Hibbert is right beneath the rim, and that's always scary when you see that, but David West is going to hit the bucket here, and David West would go on a little mini run of his own here, just constantly burning us over and over and over, and they were looking for David West. And Donatas Motiejunas was just not able to defend him as David West gets a lay in there on the nice move, and I probably jumped a little bit too early, making that shot even more easy than it needed to be. David West on the other side of the floor here, fading, and he manages to hit that one again, and he would get some free throws on top of that, but I don't normally showcase free throws, but David West was just scoring left and right to open up the second half. Passing down to Marcin Gortat, who's going to get the tough finish over David West, and our lead is back up to 8. Keeping these Pacers at bay. We do want to win this game, and we do want to have a higher seed than the Pacers in the upcoming playoffs. Trevor Ariza was wide open in the corner there. I never saw that in game. That would have probably been a good shot, but John Wall with the difficult finish just barely manages to jump high enough to push that into the rim, and that manages to fall. George Hill is going to take a difficult shot. David West is finally going to miss, and we're going to take advantage of the fast break as we always do. Give it to Ariza, who's going to just dunk on all of the Pacers. I think he dunked on Solomon Hill there, and that was a very nice sequence in fast breaks. This team lives off of fast breaks, and we really get going off of them as well because it's a great way to get your team on a run, get your team flowing, especially when your offense is starting to stagnate. But Monte Ellis is going to hit a difficult shot, trying to keep his team in the game. But Paul George was really struggling on offense in this third quarter, and he was just missing everything he took, and I think that really hurt the Pacers by quite a bit. John Wall is going to take a 3. He doesn't shoot too many of them, but he has been relatively effective ever since he went to those three-point shooting training camps in the first offseason. And now in the next offensive sequence, I see John Wall being guarded by Monte Ellis, and I'm going to take advantage of that. Monte, a great scorer, not the best defender, and he gets dunked on. Then he gets swatted on the other end, just putting insult to injury a few plays later, and John Wall's going to lob it up. I thought I was lobbing it up to Beal, but it goes to Ariza for some reason, and he manages to finish, so I was okay with that. And then later on in the half, Roy Hibbert is standing on the three-point line for some reason, and Monte Ellis, I just closed out on him, and it was a mistake because Monte Ellis is really more of a driver than he is a three-point shooter, but Roy Hibbert would get the and one to fall. And this second half is just a great example of Monte Ellis trying to prove me wrong here. I just said he was a driver, not a shooter. He manages to hit a 3. But the second half was just an amazing example of how important perimeter defenders were. Paul George was going off on me in the first half. He was very effective offensively, and crazy swat there, getting that ball out of there. But in the second half, Paul George was not able to do much, even though he did dunk on this fast break, because Trevor Ariza was in the game. Trevor Ariza was guarding him, and with that height and athleticism on Paul George, he just wasn't able to do a whole lot and really shut him down, which it in turn shut pretty much the entire Pacers offense down. But George Hill does hit a three-pointer there. But yeah, the Pacers almost live and die by Paul George, and I guess David West as well, just because those are by far the best offensive players in their team, and they don't have a lot else. They're not that great of an offensive team. And so if you can shut those guys down, you can really shut the Pacers offense down. That's what happened here. I see Tyreke Evans wide open for three. He can shoot threes now for some reason. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, midway through the season, Tyreke Evans developed a three-point shot. And the game would end here. Unfortunately, I didn't show the last 4.5 minutes because I had to go do something in real life. So I just simulated the last 4.5 minutes. I think we can all guess what happened. I did have a 19-point lead. John Wall had 28 points and 10 assists, though. Just crazy numbers. And I believe 27, 5, and 6 from Bradley Beal. Very impressive numbers from our two stars on the team. And looking at the Pacers, they did struggle. So Monte Ellis was their leading scorer, but he was not shooting that great, and Paul George was like 5 for 18. Trevor Ariza just shut him down in the second half, and that's how you beat the Pacers. And overall, they shot horribly, 38% from the field. We shot 49%, and the defense did work that game. So looking at the end of the season here, because they did simulate the last 4 games against terrible teams, as I said, and KD would get the MVP award, and Terrence Clemens would get the Rookie of the Year. This guy's like an 88 overall rookie. It's absolutely insane. I don't know how he got that high in just one season, but apparently there's a new superstar in the league already after just 1 year. Most improved player goes to Isaiah Cannon. Those are impressive numbers from him. And also, Jalen Rose, was able to earn the Executive of the Year, given the GM that made the most positive difference to their team, even though we lost quite a few games near the end of the season. So even though we only finished 5th in the conference, maybe we would have finished 6th if we didn't win that Pacers game. So that did end up becoming important. So Steph Curry, Harden, Durant, James, and Cousins are your All-NBA first team. John Wall is on the All-NBA second team, which is definitely deserving of. And there's actually a rookie on the All-NBA third team, Jerome Armstrong, who plays for the Phoenix Suns. That's probably a really good stats on a bad team sort of guy, because the Phoenix Suns just must not have any other big men, and he managed to put in a lot of work and got a lot of buckets, and that's probably why he made the All-NBA third team. Normally, you would not see a rookie making the All-NBA third team. That's pretty rare. But that's just about all that we had. Unfortunately, we probably had a good chance of having Joey Bradshaw making one of the all-rookie teams, but he was hurt for half the year, so that's why he didn't make them, and Marshall Johnston was not able to make any sort of team as well. So that's just about it for the awards. And looking at the playoff seedings, we are going to be matched up against the Knicks. That's a mismatch if I've ever seen one in round 1. But I'll see you guys with playoffs round 1 in the next episode. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all then. Farewell.